In 2025, Dubai continued to stand at the top of the world with 19.59 million international overnight visitors. Average hotel occupancy reached 80.7%, leading to soaring revenue per room. Looking at these numbers, no one can deny the greatness of an empire built on sand. However, behind that prosperity lies a structural truth. Dubai isn't weakening because of a lack of visitors. The real risk lies in the fact that this entire massive system is designed to necessitate continuous growth. A machine lubricated by an endless flow of capital and global confidence. What happens if this resource-consuming machine starts to slow down? As always, all content in this video has been researched and compiled by our team from various publicly available sources, including tourism reports, aviation data, real estate, and market analyses. If there are any errors or points that need correction, please leave a comment below so we can update it promptly. Today's topic is not the story of a fallen Dubai. On the contrary, precisely because Dubai is still at its peak, the question becomes more relevant than ever. What happens to a city that is increasingly bright, luxurious, and dependent on global flows if those flows begin to slow down? To find the answer, we will begin at the heart of this entire system: Dubai International Airport. Is Dubai primarily a tourist destination? Or is it, first and foremost, a colossal transportation hub for humanity? Dubai International Airport is not simply a place where metal machines land and take off. It is the heart, the vital lifeblood of the Emirates' entire economy. In 2025, this heart pumped 95.2 million passengers through the city's arteries, setting an unprecedented record. It continues to hold its position as the world's busiest international aviation hub. Forecasts suggest this machine could reach 99.5 million passengers by 2026, pushing its physical structures to their limits. This immense scale creates the perfect illusion of insatiable growth. But consider the sheer interconnectedness of this system. DXB doesn't operate in isolation. When a flight lands smoothly, it triggers a life-giving chain reaction. Dubai malls instantly fill with shoppers, beachfront hotels light up, long lines of taxis outside the airport begin to move, and lavish banquet tables are filled. The city thrives on the pulse of air travel. However, the harsh reality is always at play when you stake the fate of an entire economy on the skies. If air traffic is disrupted, the impact will never stop at the terminals. It's a devastating ripple effect. From retail sales and accommodation to real estate transactions, everything will be dragged into the recession. This is the first fatal flaw of this model. A great global city cannot survive if the skies above it are forced to close. But after millions of tourists disembark at that airport, the destination they are typically drawn to is not vast sand dunes or sun-drenched beaches. It's an indoor city, a place where the health of an entire economy can be measured precisely by every step. What does a shopping mall say about the health of a city? Welcoming 111 million visitors in 2024, with 98.5% occupancy, the Dubai Mall is more than just a luxury market. It's an economic electrocardiogram, sustaining an ecosystem from restaurants to the rows of taxis waiting outside. It sells the feeling that the world is still flocking to Dubai. But what if the crowds are sparse? The pressure isn't just on Gucci bags. It stifles rents and ousts thousands of workers. The illusion of an invincible city immediately crumbles. If the Dubai Mall is a place to spend money, then right outside there's a symbol that sells nothing, yet still draws thousands: the Dubai Fountain. Is a free show truly free? The Dubai Fountain proves that an iconic landmark, built to the brink of collapse, also requires a massive budget to maintain. When it's crowded, it's a money-grabbing machine, forcing cash flow into the lakeside restaurants. But that beauty comes at the cruel cost of electricity and maintenance. When it's quiet, the water curtain becomes a burden. Who pays to maintain the illusion when the audience leaves? They not only spent money building it, but also pay the price to keep the magic alive. The fountain can be turned off, but the enormous assets out there, like the artificial islands, can't simply vanish from the balance sheet. Is a $1 million oceanfront apartment worth more than its true perfection? Or because people believe someone else will always outbid it? Palm Jumeirah and Dubai Marina transcend the definition of a dwelling. They are status symbols and benchmarks of elite confidence. By 2025, with total real estate transactions exceeding 917 billion dirhams, this boom fuels the illusion that properties here will always yield returns. When tourism thrives, real estate attracts massive amounts of money. But when confidence crumbles, it's the first line of defense to fall. Luxury real estate doesn't crack from a lack of concrete. It collapses because it's built on an incredibly fragile psychological foundation. When customers hesitate, the magnificent apartment instantly becomes a burden. And above those empty marinas stand the grand structures that carry the entire honor of a city. When a structure is elevated to the status of a national icon, how much economic expectation does it carry? The Burj Khalifa is more than just a tower. It sells a grand human experience. The Burj Al Arab isn't just about renting bedrooms. It sells exclusivity and absolute demarcation from the common people. Their value cannot be measured by ticket sales or nightly revenue. They create the belief that Dubai always represents the brightest future. But every crown comes with a cruel price. The fixed costs of energy, maintaining the massive glass facade, and the elite service staff are a financial black hole. When the super rich slow down, the greatest pressure isn't on declining profit margins. The real fear is the inability to maintain the facade forever. The grander the symbol, the higher the price to hide the cracks. However, this city doesn't just sell towering concrete structures. It sells a harsher illusion. The belief that even in the middle of a barren desert, every experience is magical. What do a garden blooming amidst a blazing inferno, a miniature village encompassing entire civilizations, and dune safaris share? They are the most brilliant testaments to the power of forced intervention in nature. But these man-made miracles cannot sustain themselves. Miracle Garden requires a massive freshwater waterfall and thousands of maintenance workers. Global Village needs a constant flow of crowds. Desert Safari relies on a fuel supply chain and a continuously operating crew. When visitors flock in, they are perfect money-making machines. But when the flow slows, operating costs immediately reverse, gnawing away at profit margins. Behind every glamorous photo is a countdown clock of budgets being burned daily. And when the magic is forced to shut down, the first to fall into the abyss are absolutely not the billionaires at the top of the pyramid. When a towering landmark is deserted, who truly pays the most devastating price? Macroeconomic analyses often overlook the weak links at the bottom of the pyramid. When Dubai malls are empty, the first to suffer are sales staff losing their commissions, shop owners overwhelmed by rent pressures, and security personnel facing cuts. When accommodation services slow down, housekeeping staff and drivers are immediately pushed to the sidelines. When safaris become less crowded, thousands of guides risk losing their residency permits. They don't own luxury properties. They have no social safety net. The stagnation of these skyscraper wonders will directly crush the livelihoods of tens of thousands of people below ground. But focusing solely on job losses only reveals half the truth. The other half lies in a larger paradox. Why is this empire so incredibly sensitive to global trust? After all, what is Dubai really selling to the world? This metropolis isn't selling hotel rooms or concrete blocks. It's selling an ideology. Dubai sells tourists the belief that it's an oasis of absolute safety. It sells the belief to the elite that their assets will always yield returns. It sells the belief to luxury brands that the super rich will continue to flock here. And it sells the belief to the workforce that this land is always brimming with opportunity. When the economy is built entirely on trust, the most devastating risk isn't an overnight collapse. It begins with hesitation. Just one delay from tourists, one wait from investors, and the foundations of prosperity will immediately crack. The higher it rises, the more it exhausts itself, protecting the illusion of perpetual stability. So, stripping away those fragilities, is it fair to judge that this megacity is collapsing? After all those structural risks, is it fair to judge that Dubai is hollow and actually collapsing? The short answer is no. Data from 2025 still shows unprecedented records in visitor numbers and capital flows. So, concluding that this megacity is dead is short-sighted. However, the harsh truth lies in another lens. Dubai is an incredibly successful machine, but it possesses enormous maintenance costs. When all the gears are running, this system creates the illusion of an unbeatable empire. But the more a city relies on tourism, real estate, and international air travel, the more vulnerable it becomes to fluctuations in global confidence. If the flow of people slows, financial pressure will immediately fall on the most glamorous places. The iconic skyscrapers are not just proof of power, they are the harshest test of survival. How many iconic landmarks can a city build before they themselves become the ultimate test? Dubai is far from empty. It remains an incredibly attractive destination. But that greatness absolutely cannot operate on its own. It requires an airport that never closes, shopping malls that are always bustling, and a constantly circulating real estate market. And most importantly, the world must always believe that this is an absolute safe haven. Behind the glamour lies the cruel question for every luxury economy. If global confidence stagnates, who will pay the enormous bill to keep the illusion shining? If you find this investigative analysis valuable, please like and share. Please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next part. The video content is based on economic reports and geopolitical assumptions and is for informational purposes only. It is not financial investment advice.